A six-pack by any other name. I was in the army way back when the internet was new and computer illiterate commanding officers had their clerks print out emails so they could read them. As a young private, after work me and my buddies would often stop by the Class 6 store on the post, an army liquor store, to buy beer after we got off duty. One day me and my buddy grabbed a 12-pack of beers on the way to the barracks. When we got to the barracks, we had to pass the CQ, charge of quarters, basically a guard posted at the entrance to the barracks. The CQ that day was a specialist, E4, who I really didn't get along with. He was mad he had to pull CQ duty and he was always trying to find everyone's stupid infractions. He had taken a special interest in me for some reason. The CQ told us we could only bring 6 beers into the barracks. Since he was an E4, and outranked myself, E2, and my friend, E3, I was very respectful when I asked him what he meant. He pulled out a 3-ring binder with the barracks SOP, standard operating procedure, and pointed to the section that said a soldier could bring only 6 beers into the barracks. Interesting. I thought about handing my friend 6 beers and taking 6 myself to get around this stupid rule, but this guy would log that we opened the 12-pack of beer outdoors in the log book and we'd get in trouble anyway. But then I had an interesting idea. I thanked the CQ and told my friend to come on. We walked back to Class 6 and got a refund for the beer. Then we bought 6 40-ounce bottles of malt liquor. We went from 144 fluid ounces of beer in 12 12-ounce cans to 240 fluid ounces of malt liquor in 6 40-ounce bottles. When we returned to the barracks, the CQ wanted to inspect our package. He just about hit the ceiling when he saw I was carrying 6 40-ounce bottles. CQ, I told you can only bring 6 beers into the barracks. Me, there are 6 beers in here. I can count them off if you like? I then proceeded to count them before he could respond. Flustered, he allowed us to proceed. The next morning the first sergeant, highest-ranking non-commissioned officer in the company, called me to his office. He yelled at me for about 5 full minutes before he calmed down long enough to tell me I was getting an Article 15, non-judicial punishment, roughly the military equivalent of a plea bargain. Why? Because I violated his SOP by bringing 6 40-ounce beers into his barracks. That was when I heard the CO, commanding officer, a captain in the next office over, call for the first sergeant. The first sergeant jumped up and went straight to the CO's office. I strained to hear them talking for a few minutes. From what I could make out, they were reviewing the SOP and comparing it to the CQ log. But their voices got louder as they started expressing different views and I could hear that part clearly. First sergeant, but it says clearly you can have a 6-pack of beers. CO, first sergeant, it says you can have 6 beers. First sergeant, but it's obvious it means 6 cans of beer. CO, no first sergeant, it's not obvious. Send that soldier back to work. We're done here. A couple of seconds later I could feel the sheer anger as the first sergeant came back into my office and bellowed, "Get the F out of here." So I did.